Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth. I'm recording this on Zoom because I am unable to attend the meeting, unfortunately. I hope this works. I haven't recorded on Zoom in a while, so I apologize if there's doubles of me or anything like that. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so let me try to do this in present mode. Okay, I hope you can see me in this, hopefully. Okay, so my thesis is on the evaluation of computer-based instruction and behavioral skills training to teach resume writing skills. Um, so what is computer-based instruction and behavioral skills training? Computer-based instruction, or CBI for short, teaches skills and materials through computer programs, for example, through Canvas. Um, excuse me. According to some research, such as Johnson and Rubin, who reviewed multiple studies, CBI can be effective and viable. And then for behavior skills training, or BST, is an evidence-based training method that aims to teach individuals new skills using a systematic approach. So BST includes four basic steps, including providing clear instructions, modeling desired behaviors, offering practice opportunities, and providing feedback for trainees. And then why is a resume important? What is it? So a resume is a summary of someone's skills and experiences. So presenting information can include information such as the candidate's name, their contact information, career objectives, work experience, and education. Usually they include a bulleted list of achievements and experiments based on the most recent and relatable work that applies to the job application. Some of the most common mistakes that can be seen include grammar, spelling, long descriptions, missing information, or just poor organization. So those are the usual things that can get in the way of getting through to a job. Some previous studies that I'm basing my study off of is Lopez and Ortega. So they both work to improve resumes. Lopez's 2023 thesis analyzed if using a virtual workshop would have better improvement in scores than just receiving a lecture. He found that a workshop was beneficial. However, he only did a pre-test, post-test design and really couldn't see the progress that was learned throughout the course. Ortega analyzed the social validity of using a virtual course to teach about resumes and showed that resume scores were able to improve, but she recommends that she states that it would be beneficial to improve the resume rubric. She used one to, um, and also use behavioral skills training to improve the quality of the course. A third study is DeMaio's 2021 study, which used a multiple probe design, which is what I will be using to evaluate using video modules to train students to apply to graduate school. So applying uh, uh, the multiple probe is what's going to be important here. Uh, so statement of the problem. The current study aims to address limitations in other studies such as quality in resumes, specification and resume scoring, and analyzing progression in knowledge of resume writing. By using BST and CBI, the study hopes to improve the quality of resume scores based on a checklist. A multiple probe design will be utilized to analyze improvement in scores after each module, as well as pre and post resume scores. So my research question is, will using CBI paired with BST improve scores on resumes? Another thing I forgot to mention is I'm actually doing my study paired up with Sandra, who is focusing her part of the study on the cover letters. So we'll be working together, but our data will be separate. So our participants will include students at California State University, Stanislaus. Our preferred number of participants would be about 14 students. They must be 18 years or older and want to increase their resume and cover letter writing skills. Um, So to get them to want to, and you know, participate, there would be an incentive, a $60 gift card that they would receive at the end of the study, um, and then a $10 bonus for completing the study within a month of starting it. So these are my measures. The IV is the CBI and BST. My DVs, I have three: percentage of accuracy on the cumulative test. Um, and then I'll show you a graph too to kind of show what all of the cumulative tests and subscores are. But DV2 is the percentage of accuracy on the subscores. And then the DV3 is score on the pre-test versus post-test on the resume checklist. So I'm going to have that checklist basically at the beginning of the study. They'll turn in their resume. I'll have my checklist. Did they do this? Did they do that? And then they get their score. And at the very end of the study, they turn in the resume again and they get scored again. So I'll get that pre-test and post-test. Um, After each module that they take throughout the study, I'll get subscores basically. So there's going to be a set of questions that they have to take. So one big test at the beginning, one big test at the end, which will give me my percentages on that. But after each module will be kind of based on smaller sets of questions from that big test. So my hypothesis is that after each module training, the subscores will gradually increase. Hypothesis two is that participants will receive at least a 90% accuracy score on the cumulative test. And my hypothesis three is that score in the resume checklist will be higher after CBI and BST. Um, so these are my methods. So we're going to start off with the eligibility questionnaire. They'll also take a demographic survey. If eligible, they'll be contacted by the researchers and will be asked to turn their most current resume. That way we can get that pre-test. Then a checklist will be created, and it's going to be based around Indiana State University's rubric, which looks like this. Um, and the participants will receive a pre-test score. After the course, they'll turn in an updated resume and receive their post-test score. So now getting into the multiple probe design. So the participants will receive a cumulative 30-item test. That's going to be at the very beginning. And the questions will ask about details that would represent a great resume, what kind of information should be in there, what should be excluded, different examples of which resume should be chosen, things like that. If they receive a score of 65% accuracy or under, they may proceed with the intervention. So that's baseline. Now for the intervention, which is going to include CBI and BST through the cannabis application, they will go through 3 training modules. So because it's a 30-item test, now it's going to be broken down into sets of 10s. So module 1 will focus on teaching them questions 1 through 10. They have to take a sub-test or quiz. That's going to get our subscore, subscore 1. They're able to move on to training module 2, which will focus on questions 11 through 20 of the 30-item test, and they'll take a second quiz. So that's going to be another subscore. Once they pass that one, they can move on to module 3, which will focus on questions 21 through 30. And they'll take their last mastery quiz. So the participant will begin the course by completing the pretest, consisting of questions, how to format a resume, what information should be included, examples of good resumes matching to job applications. That's going to be their baseline. And then going back to how it relates to Sanchez, her study will also do the same thing, and we'll do our modules together. But again, our data will be presented separately. So another thing to mention, just going back really quick, for questions 1 through 10, it will be separated. So for example, I think I go into it in a couple of slides later, but basically let's say 1 through 10, 1 through 5 will be on a resume, 5 through 10 will be on the cover letter, that we can both get our information into the slides. So this is a little bit more broken down. So module one, the course will begin with a video with the objective, the study instructions, kind of an introduction to resumes and cover letters. There'll be activities, answers to go through as they go through. We're planning on using VoiceThread, and then they'll take the sub-score test. So we'll track their scores. Sorry, I think that's a typo. Questions 1 through 5. Um, but they must receive a score of 90% accuracy to move on to the next module. So like I was saying, 5 questions will be on the resume, 5 will be in the cover letters. Then they can move on to module 2, which will include a lecture about common mistakes made in rubrics, and examples will be provided. Once they complete that module, they will be able to take the quiz to get their sub-score 2. That will be on questions 11 through 20. Again, 5 questions will focus on the resumes and 5 will focus on the cover letters. For module 3, it will include examples of job listings and resumes, and they're going to have to choose which one would be the better match, which one doesn't have as many mistakes. And then for the test, the quiz, it's going to focus on questions 21 through 30, and they'll be the final test that they have to take. This is an example of one of the questions. So it's going to give a little example, and then this is a possible answer. So they would choose, this is the answer, this is the best option. So data analysis, to visually inspect the test scores, the multiple baseline across subjects graph will be created. So for each participant, this is what the graph is going to look like. So the baseline, hopefully it's, lower. But basically what we're going to see is that after every time that they go through a module, when they take that sub score, what we'll see is the initial score was low, but after taking it, their score is able to increase. So let's see. Now sub score 2, their score was low, and then we're able to see that topic 2, their scores were able to increase as well. And then sub-score 3, we'll be able to see that on those questions, on those topics, the score were low as well, and they were able to increase after taking that module. Now this is going to be the pre-test, post-test. So this is going to be for that checklist that we do at the beginning when we're scoring their initial resume or cover letter, and then at the very end when they turn in a revised version. So what we hope to see is that they had initially low scores, and then after taking the modules and the training, their score will be able to increase and their resume will have increased, will be better. So that is my presentation. Please let me know if there's anything specific that I should be adding. I know there could be probably a lot more added to this, and any feedback would be appreciated. Thank you.